Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So this week I just want to talk to everyone about practicing on the range. I think it's very common for players to go to the range and practice what they're learning in their lessons and then come back and feel more confused because they thought they were doing things correctly, when in reality they were just practicing their old habits for 2 hours. However, I'm here to tell you that going to the range can actually be very destructive for your game unless you know what to work on specifically and you have some structure to what you're doing instead of just bouncing around to different ideas in order to get the ball to go straight. Everyone has their own tendencies, and I think if a player wants to change how their ball curves, increase distance, or whatever it may be, they definitely have to focus on the positioning in the golf swing. Now, the problem with the range is that you have no visual feedback of your swing. You only have the ball flight to rely on, which can be very misguiding just because you can time things very well. So it really just gives you a false sense of security. So I had some time the other day to go practice on the range myself. So just wanted to share what I do, just to maybe give you a better idea on how you can structure your practice the next time you're out there. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. And if you are visiting my channel for the first time, please subscribe to see more golf-related content in the future.
So to start off, I like doing a lot of dry rehearsals of the movement that I need to work on, based on my own tendencies, just to get an idea of what I need to do and feel during my practice. My tendency has always been to have the club face too open at the top and even in the downswing, which would lead to occasional push shots to the right. So if you notice, I am really exaggerating the feel of closing the club face during my backswing and flexing my lead wrist in order to get the club face more closed or square at the top of my swing. I know that this is an exaggeration, but what it feels like and what's really happening are totally different, and I know that it doesn't look like this when I'm going to hit the ball. Feeling this exaggeration for me actually puts me in the perfect position. But I really won't work on much more than that when it comes to technique, and I think that is also a very important point, that you shouldn't be working on multiple things at once. You should be working on one or two things max and ensuring that you get them down before moving on. Even if you are a player with many issues, this approach is still the fastest way to make a long-lasting change. Too often I see players bounce around to different ideas to try and get an immediate change in their ball flight, or they move on to something else too quickly before they have reinforced things enough. To be honest, I've been fighting this tendency for years. It always comes back if I don't reinforce it. So after dry rehearsals, I slowly began to try and apply it to swing. So I would go through a normal rehearsal, pause at the top, and then hit a shot. I will do this for quite a while because this allows me to really feel the correct club position. I usually do about 2 to 4 exaggerated rehearsals before a single shot. For the third step in my practice, I would hit some shots without pausing to try and apply the same feels to a more fluid swing. So after doing this for a while, I would shift my focus from positioning to swing path. So you can see that I have set some alignment sticks on the ground to give me some feedback with my club path. I have done this drill ever since I was a kid, and it has always helped me sort out my club path. You can make this drill easier by spacing out the sticks more, or you can make it harder by making it more narrow to where there's no room for error. And even though I'm focusing on the club path during this drill, I am still conscious of the positioning that I was working on earlier. I would usually do this until I feel very confident with not hitting the sticks, or to where I'm not really thinking about it. Next, I would take a bit of a break from focusing on technique with full swing and hit some wedge shots to certain flags. But I would try and land the ball on different greens 3 times in a row before moving on to a different flag. It is difficult to find a place in Singapore where you can practice short game, so this is the best option that I have, but you just got to make the best of what you got. In the past, I have tried to get 8 out of 10 shots to land on the green before moving on. You can also use different wedges and try to land the ball at the same distance. The amount of games that you can play like this are endless, really, and I've also just tried hitting signs or tried hitting the golf cart out in the distance for fun. And finally, after hitting wedge shots, I try and further apply the same positions to longer irons and the driver. I set my little station back up again and continue with the same thing. It really doesn't have to be super fancy, but it does have to be very specific to you and your own tendencies.
Okay, thank you so much for watching. So I hope this has given you a better sense or better idea on how to practice more effectively at the range. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment down below. And be sure to follow me on my Instagram at Jonathan K. Moss if you want to inquire about online lessons. I will also leave a link to my website in the description box below as well, just so you can figure out the details. But other than that, I will see you guys next week.